All right, Algebra 1A students. Welcome to part 1 of your video on lesson 6.3. We're going to continue to solve systems of equations where we're looking for an x, y answer. But today's equations or today's systems are going to look quite different, and they're going to be solved in a different manner as well. Okay. Now, there's certainly more than one way to solve a system. We've already looked at two. We started out by graphing the lines, and then we've in our last set of videos we were looking at solving with substitution. And in certain cases, systems can be written sometimes in a way that makes eliminating a variable very easy and a very good method to use. Okay, we are going to do this usually when an equation is in standard form. Okay, when an equation is in standard form, usually we are going to solve using elimination. And I'm going to show you what that looks like, the easiest version of that in this video. Okay, so imagine we have this system of equations here. 2x plus 5y equals 17. And 6x minus 5y equals negative 9. What I want you to notice here is this. One of my variables has exactly the same number attached, but the sign is different. One is positive, the other is negative. But the number is exactly the same. It's a positive 5y and a negative 5y. Okay? The other thing I want you to realize is if I were to do negative 5 and then add 5, or the other way around, if I were to, let's say, take 5 and add negative 5, what would this equal? Well, that would equal 0. So very easily, I can turn this equation into something with 0 y's. My y's are going to disappear. I'm going to eliminate them simply by adding the entire equation together. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is add the entire equation together. Okay? So what that looks like is just taking these two equations that are stacked on top of each other, put a line underneath, and put a plus sign over here. Okay? And I'm going to add straight down. I'm going to add the x's together, I'm going to add the y numbers together, and I'm going to add the numbers on the other side together as well. Okay. Now, 2x plus 6x, 2x's and 6x's together makes 8x's. Positive 5y and negative 5y makes 0y. So these two pieces right here, suppose I could have left that circle in blue, those two pieces right there are going to go away. They're going to be eliminated by adding the two equations together. And then the other side of my equal sign, which is the only thing that's left, 17 plus a negative 9 gives me 8 on the other side as well. Okay. And now that I have eliminated my y variables, it's very easy to solve for x. I just divide away the 8. And I get that x is equal to 1. Okay, x is equal to 1. And now I'll rewrite one of my original equations here and try to solve this for y as well. It says 2x plus 5y equals 17. And now instead of putting the x, I'm going to replace that with the number I know x is equal to, which is a 1. So it's 2 times 1 plus 5y equals 17. Well, 2 times 1 is 2. So we get this, and then this is an equation that I think we can all solve by subtracting 2 on both sides. And we get 5y equals 15. And we simply divide by 5. And we get that y is equal to 3. So we have our final answer here. parentheses 1 for the x, comma 3 for the y. Okay, and that is my final answer. That would be my final answer. So again, the first step is we just add the two equations together, because in certain cases when you have a positive and a negative of the same number on, say, your y variable or your x variable, you can just add them together and they disappear. Okay? Once they disappear, we divide away the number that's on the other variable, and we have that one, and then plug it back into one of the two equations and you solve for the other variable. I got a couple here for you to try. In letter A here, you're going to eliminate the y variables exactly like I just did up above by adding the two equations. And then here we're going to actually eliminate the x variables by adding the two equations together. And you should be able to get x, y coordinate points for both of those. Okay? Now the equation in letter A, when we add, ends up saying 8x equals 16, which leads me pretty quickly to x equals 2. Plug that back in, maybe to right there, and we pretty quickly get to y equaling 7. Y equals 7. Okay, so my final answer as a coordinate point will be 2, 7. And then over here, if I add this together, I get that negative 7y is equal to 14. So pretty quickly, y equals negative 2. And if I plug that back in, maybe to this equation right there, I pretty quickly get that x is equal to negative 1. So my final answer coordinate point on that equation would be parentheses negative 1, comma, negative 2. Okay. If you have questions about solving systems of equations using elimination, adding the two equations together to make one variable disappear, please make a note to ask me in class tomorrow. Otherwise, that's all I have for you. Have a wonderful night.